Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Redman Inc. TV. I'm Red Watson, and I know I haven't exactly been uh, current with my podcasts like I wanted to be for the longest time, and without wishing to make too many excuses for myself, a lot has happened since I started this channel, and I do mean a lot. A lot of life has happened really fast, and I can't remember what commercial that saying's from, but I'm sure I'll remember it a little bit later on. I want to try to keep this as short as possible and just kind of let you guys know exactly what has happened to me. Um, I want to try to keep this to maybe 10 minutes, but there's a lot of information to tell, so just kind of bear with me. So I guess the best place to start is at the beginning. And essentially, what happened was I met a person, and we started talking, and we got extremely close, and I thought I could trust this person, and so stupidly, we moved in together. And I say that with the utmost hindsight because that is always 2020, ladies and gentlemen, and you can bank on that. And I guarantee you, for 100% of situations you find yourself in where you get yourself into a jam, you'll look back in, could be 6 months, could be 3 months, could be 24 hours, could be a year. But you'll look back on your situation at some point and say, I wish I would have done that. Well, that's exactly where I'm at. Um, I wish I would have stayed away and avoided this toxic person. And people that are close to me will know who I'm talking about. And, I don't want to name names because that's not the type of person that I am. And I don't want anyone to ever believe that about me. And there are a lot of people who, just having met her a few times, don't particularly like her already. The relationship was, as best as I could describe it, psychologically abusive. I've been going to therapy every so often. I got diagnosed with bipolar, which is something I want to maybe talk about at a later date, is mental illness. But a lot of just bad stuff and not fun at all. And naturally, of course, my friends who were extremely against it didn't like me being an idiot. And, in hindsight, I should have listened to the people that have had my back for such a long time. But you know what they say, when you stick your dick in crazy, well, just don't stick your dick in crazy. That's all I have to say uh, about that. But for me, it was really weird. For the longest time, I had, as much as this person irritated me, grown so accustomed to having a person around who was just strictly there to talk to me. And living in Pittsburgh with a few other people who had their own lives, I had a lot of emptiness and a lot of empty space to myself, and I didn't do well with it. It just wasn't good. I have a lot of, I don't want to say demons because that's not the right word. The word I'm probably looking for is bad memories, but that's 2 words, so I can't count. I went to Brownsville, get off my dick. But yeah, I didn't fare well. And not only did I not fare well with just the constant self-isolation after the breakup and after all the abuse that I had been put through, where she also isolated me, I kind of had probably a mental breakdown. I don't know. It was never diagnosed, but just kind of having done a little light reading on some of the symptoms of mental breakdowns. and probably less of a breakdown and more just extreme mental fatigue, because it was an incredibly stressful and strange year that I've had since this YouTube channel has been around. And although I've not done a lot with it, a lot has happened, and I could spend hours and hours and hours trying to catch you guys up, and it wouldn't do me any good because so much has happened. But um, got out of an abusive relationship, was working at a bar down in Pittsburgh, and student loan debt is real, and it's a terrible, terrible problem, and it's really hard to deal with problems and seek out good solutions to those problems when you've just gone through an incredible, well, I don't want to say emotional trauma, because I know that it wasn't like I was with this person for years, but it's always tough when you invest your time and emotion in somebody and you live together under the same roof, and then you just simply, I don't want to say we grew apart, but it was more like she kind of just got to the point where everything about her was so negative all the time, and I just couldn't take it, and all the stress of everything mounted up until eventually I don't, like, I remember living in Pittsburgh and I remember details about it, but a lot of it was just sort of a blur. It all just kind of happened, and then when I moved back to Fayette County, um, it felt unreal, and it still feels unreal, and it probably will always feel at least slightly unreal, because it's a situation that not a lot of people go through, especially this early in their life. I'm only 22 at time of recording this on April 6th, 2017, but not a lot of people have gone through breakups where they had been living together, and then, you know, at least if they have, it's probably been, I don't want to say more amicable of a split than the one I went through, but probably didn't have quite the same age gap. Like I said, I was 22. At the time when we first moved in, I was only 21, and she was 30. So she was almost 10 years older than I was. And yeah, it's just, long story short, my life has been in a tailspin since March of 2016. And I haven't made these podcasts. I haven't even sat down really to record anything in so long, because every time that I look at a microphone, especially this microphone right here in front of me, and I mean, yeah, a little bit has changed about it. It's got a few scratches in it here and there. It's, I was able to get a windscreen and pop filter for it finally. But I've had that microphone since I was in Pittsburgh, and it's kind of painful to think back and, just go, wow, there are so many other things that I could have done different, that I might still be there and, still be around all my friends, and I wouldn't be in the situation that I'm in if I hadn't just been so damn stupid. But, you can't change the past, and here we are. And at time of recording, I've had a few jobs since I've been home. I worked at Pizza Hut. I took my old job back for a little while, and then the manager and I kind of had a little falling out, and it wasn't even the manager's fault, because in the time that I had left, they got bought by a corporation, and the corporation didn't care about its employees and didn't treat us right, and it didn't matter how hard you were working. You could be working for, well, I worked for almost 3 straight weeks without a day off, and I was the only decent delivery driver. I don't want to toot my horn and say that, oh, I'm the best driver, but I've been doing it for a while. I knew the area okay. I grew up here my whole life, and I was making good times with my deliveries. But at the end of the day, the wear and tear on my vehicle wasn't matching the pay, because what they would do is every time I would clock out on a delivery, instead of making minimum wage, my wage would drop and I would be making under $6 an hour, which, I mean, technically, I guess is server's wage and makes sense for tax purposes, but I've worked other jobs, other delivery jobs, where they're paying you $8 an hour plus your tips, and all you have to do is just claim your tips, and it didn't affect your wage. So I don't know, but then again, I'm not a business owner. Then I worked at another pizza place, and I stayed there extremely briefly. I think I was there maybe 3 weeks. I was working morning shift. Not a lot of deliveries were coming in, and I wasn't making much money, and so they let me go because they didn't need me because my position got terminated. So I was out again, and then I went to a place and I applied to work at Dunham's Sporting Goods, and so I've been there. I'm coming up on, wow, I've been there over a month already, I believe. Um, Coming up on 2 months actually, close to it anyway, which I suppose is good. I mean, it's a minimum wage job. It doesn't pay anything fantastic, and I only get maybe 32 hours a week max because it's a part-time gig. But hey, it's better than nothing. And I'm looking for. Well, I just got a second job today at a local. I don't want to call it movie theater. It's a drive-in, the Brownsville Drive-In, and there's a diner right next to it. They're both owned by the same person, so I'll probably be working at the diner as a cook a few days a week, and going to my evening job at Dunham's, and then from there, um, maybe during the weekends, maybe a few nights a week, be working at the drive-in and helping out at the snack bar there, which would be pretty cool. I've never gotten to work at anywhere quite like the drive-in. I worked at a bar in Pittsburgh in a kitchen, and it was awesome. And I want to go back and I want to visit everybody there someday. But I don't know who all would still be there, but I know they know I miss them, and I want to go back and see them. But I've never worked anywhere quite like the drive-in, and it's going to be an interesting experience. But things have been tough, and that's about the long and the short of why I haven't been able to really post. My life has been going about 1,001 miles an hour since graduation, and that's coming up on a year ago. It'll be a year on the 30th of April, and unfortunately, I haven't quite found anything in radio. I tried. I've sent out several demo tapes, and nowhere seems to be interested in me. But I mean, anything can happen, and I want to try to stay relevant and current, and I want to get back into recording because I miss it, and I can only wallow in my own self-pity for so long before I have to get back into the swing of what made me me. And this year has been tough, and it's only going to get a little bit tougher from here, I can only imagine. I say a little bit, I know it's never a little bit tougher. It's always 1,000 times tougher than you think it'll be. And I'm living with my parents right now. I sleep in the living room on the floor, and it's I don't want to say it's terrible, because I'm extremely appreciative of my parents taking me in and being willing to give me a place to stay, because there are so many people that don't have the strokes of good luck that I've had in life. And I bitch and moan and complain a lot, because, oh, I'm not living on my own. Oh, I can't make it on my own yet because I'm only able to get 32 hours a week. And it's like, dude, you're in the same boat as so many other people that are only a year out of college. There are so many, many, many hundreds of thousands of people who come out of college and try to find work and they just can't. And they barely make ends meet and they just get by. And maybe they get an apartment. Maybe they find a group of people that they can stomach, that they can room with, that don't get on each other's nerves. And, that's it. There's so many people that don't have it as good as I do. And I'm starting to try to be more reminiscent of that fact in my life and bitch a little less. I mean, yeah, to an extent it feels good, but the more you do it, the worse it feels. It's like sex. The more you do it, it just becomes boring and second nature, and it doesn't accomplish anything. I mean, sex does, obviously, but I mean, nothing of any real like world changing impact if she gets pregnant. But that's beside the point. Moving on. Fuck, what was I saying? I forget. I got lost on a tangent, and damn it if I can't remember what the hell I was. Oh yeah, I was saying I wanted to try to bitch less because I still probably can get away and live and it's not like I haven't done nothing at all. It's not like I sit here in this house. It's not like I'm trapped or being held hostage. It's just one of those things that is very jarring to go from having, you know, lived in my own place and having my own rules to going back home and, my parents have their rules and their way of life and I have to adapt to them. And really, honestly, we don't clash that much, mostly because, my parents tend to go to bed, and if I want to stay up, I'm allowed, as long as I keep it fairly quiet, which, I don't have to raise a ton of racket to have a good time. I got my video games that I play, and I want to try to maybe do a Let's Play or two, maybe even Twitch, because we have Wi-Fi out here, believe it or not, in the middle of bumfuck Egypt. So it might be something that I try to get done maybe this year. But like I said, I want to bitch less and I want to start getting back into the swing of things and start recording again and get on a regular upload schedule because of the fact that it's been a year and I haven't done anything with this channel and I can only wallow in self-pity for so long, and the time is running out because we're almost halfway into 2017 and I still haven't. I posted a video on my channel. It's nothing related to the channel. It doesn't match my vision. It's just content. It just exists. It's just there. It serves no purpose. It doesn't advance my goals. And, well, I want to try to get back to that. And, I said I wanted to keep this to 10 minutes. We're coming up on the 20-minute mark. And, it's okay. I can do this. Because I wanted to try to get everything down and maybe elaborate a little bit as to why nothing has happened and why so few people have heard from me or seen me, and I don't want anyone to think that I just vanished into thin air. And I know a lot of you know that I haven't, and a lot of you have been in contact with me, and I appreciate it. The people that do text me, the friends that have kind of come back after the whole relationship debacle happened, and I'm thankful to God that the ones that have come back seem to be like, yeah, you fucked up, but you're still a good person, and we can respect that, and I'm glad for the people that choose to not see me as just the sum of my faults, but they choose to see me as the sum of a whole person who tries to do the best he can and tries to do right by everyone around him. Sometimes fails, but I keep on trying. Anyway, I've rambled way, way, way longer than I ever intended to on this vlog or podcast or whatever you want to call it. Maybe I'll vlog later. Maybe I'll take you to work with me at some point. But this has been Red Watson, and this has been Red Man Inc. TV, and thank you from the bottom of my heart for those of you that have stuck around for this long, and thank you from the bottom of my heart for being my friends. I love you. God bless. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at the Redliner himself. You can also like the Facebook page for the channel. That's Redman Inc. TV. And I will see all you guys real fucking soon. Bye bye, everybody.